Ladies and gentlemen, please give a really big warm welcome to my guest performer, Andrew Flintoff.
It really is on Radio 4 long way. When did you first get into cricket?
I was at school when I went to grammar school, and we played cricket. And of course, growing up cricket with Dennis Compton and Brian Statham, Freddie Truman. When I was at grammar school, they were the two England fast bowlers, and Compton and Cowdrey, Edridge, all those people. They were heroes. They were great British sporting figures, and so you idolise them. I mean, cricket commentary in those days was so exciting. It was like boxing commentary. And Truman's coming into bowl now, and the descriptions were so fantastic. The great thing about radio was that you could imagine it. And I always loved listening to cricket on the radio, and always do. I still like listening to it on the radio.
Still listen now? You listen to us still?
Yeah, I kind of put the volume down on the telly and put the commentary up on the radio, because it's something. It's always been more magical on the radio for me.
Yeah. And that sold the game to you, listening in
oh
those
yeah,
days.
and also being able to play it at school as well.
Yeah. What did you do, dare I ask you?
A batsman rather than a bowler, definitely. I'm quite an aggressive person, so I like to. It's always fun to hit the ball, I think.
Yeah. But presumably music took over then. So
music was always my first love. I mean, I come from a very sporting family. My cousin was a footballer with Nottingham Forest. He scored the first goal in the 1957 Cup final against Luton and broke his leg. His name was Roy Dwight. And my other cousin used to play for Fulham. I used to sit on the touchline at Fulham when I was a very young boy in the days of Bedford Jezard and Johnny Haynes. And so I come from a very big sporting family. Loved tennis at an early age. Took up tennis. Extraordinary that when I was at school, tennis was not allowed. It was a girls' sport, and the boys weren't allowed to play tennis. And yet, and we always wanted to play tennis and hockey, because hockey was such a great sport. But it wasn't. You weren't allowed to. So the summer was always nice because rugby was the sport in the winter, and I didn't like that too much because it was too rough. But summer was always good because you could play cricket, and I like cricket a lot.
Did you actually get to see any of these heroes? Did you go along to Lords?
No, I didn't. No, just listened to them on the radio, and they became heroes through radio. It was astonishing. It was like Peter Brough and Archie Andrews became heroes through the radio, and so did all these people that became larger than life. And the descriptions as they were coming into bowl or coming out to bat were extraordinary. And then television came in, of course, and you saw these people, actually doing it, and it was just even more impressive.
Any R. Dwight innings worth mentioning?
I don't think so. I mean, I did score 24 at Lords. I played in a couple of charity matches. I played in one at Lords when I had green hair. And I walked through the long room, and the looks that I got as I walked through the long room, and it was the longest walk out to the crease I can ever remember. So I thought, oh, please let this end. And I got to the crease, and I thought, oh, please let me score one run. And I scored 24.
Wow.
And that was okay. And the next week, I got so carried away, I said, yes, I'll play again next week. It was for the Vic Lewis 11. And I played in Richmond, or Barnes, and Robin Jackman got me out first ball.
Down to earth with a bump.
Yes, exactly.
He's a decent bowler, though.
Yeah.
Robin.
I heard him commentating the other day on the South Africa game against New Zealand.
Lives life well, does Robin, and he's living a comfortable life down in Cape Town. 82-3, that's when you really, I suppose, your love for cricket became more widely known for those of us who followed the game, because did you latch onto the 82-3 tour there down in Australia? I was to have a tour.
I was the first tour that I really latched on is when we won the Ashes.
86-7.
Yeah, and going down to Australia and New Zealand quite a lot as I did. I used to love hanging around with the cricketers, and the Australian cricketers and the British cricketers, and they were so much fun. They're more down to earth. Go out for a drink with me, even go out to dinner. We had a lot of fun. Got up to a lot of mischief together. And then, of course, when we won the Ashes at Melbourne on that Boxing Day, was one of the greatest nights I'll ever remember, and one of the most drunken nights ever remembered. It was such a great occasion, and it was so great to be part of a team that had won the Ashes, and to actually have been there and seen it. Yeah. It was quite an extraordinary memory. Yeah. And I must say, I've always gotten on with the Aussies, and always gotten on with the English cricketers. There's something about, as I say, hanging around with cricketers that I really, really like. They're very, very funny. We used to organise Australian, when we played in Perth, did concerts in Perth, and Dennis Lilly would organise with Rodney Marsh an Australian 11 against the British 11 out there. And I remember Alex Stewart was playing club cricket out there.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
absolutely
And
right.
so it shows you how old I am.
That's right. So the suburbs of Perth he was. David Gower described you as England's head groupie actually on that tour.
I was pretty, yes, but he better be careful because some of the names that those cricketers earned during that, they better, I could blackmail them easily. I mean, there were Alan Lamb, David Gower, Ian Botham and Bob Willis. I quite remember them in New Zealand at Auckland. They were going to Pakistan. They were not happy. They'd be going to Pakistan. They were, they'd been away from home quite a lot, and then they were off to Pakistan. So that night was quite rowdy as well.
Was that the infamous sex, drugs and rock and roll?
I think that was that tour, yes.
It was.
I remember Bob Willis being carried along a corridor because he was so drunk, and it took about 6 people to carry him. It was like seeing Gulliver being carried along this hotel corridor. Yeah. And but no, I cricket has always been for me poetry in motion. It's a bit like I love baseball in America as well because it's that sort of game.
Interesting. So you can actually see the connection between the two.
Yeah,
there is one.
There is a connection there. It's a very poetical game. It's a very complicated game. The only way you could learn cricket is by watching it or playing it, and you could never describe the rules. It's so complicated. Yeah. You just have to watch it, and that's how I learned baseball, was to watch it time and time again on TV in America. But those two games are very similar in their poetical kind of way, and it's always great to watch a cricket match. I find it so relaxing and so, I prefer test matches to one day, as I have to say.
I was going to ask you about that, because there's part of you that I'm sure is very traditional, although sometimes you don't necessarily see that image publicly, but you are more of a traditional cricketer.
Well, I liked one day internationals quite a lot when they first started. I just think there are too many of them now. And I think they wear out the players, and I think cricketers are playing too many games. And I think the test matches are far more interesting. It's far more of a chess game. I mean, the format for the one-dayers. You get a lot of runs and you try and beat that lot of runs, and it's interesting sometimes. But I honestly do believe that Test match cricket is far more interesting and far more worthwhile. It's far more relaxing as well.
It's the man who wore pink shoes, I think I'm right in saying, when he posed for was it the cover of the Greatest Hits 2?
Yes, I had pink
white,
tennis shoes.
Pink shoes on,
yes.
Yes, not terribly traditional.
Not terribly traditional. No, I mean, I am a traditionalist in some ways, but I do think that you see the best cricket in Test match cricket.
Yeah. But to go back to that photograph, it's quite a brave decision to make, wasn't it, then, for you to have a cover photograph of you in cricket whites?
Yeah, for America, because America had no idea what cricket was. So
and it wasn't terribly sexy either, was it? Perhaps?
No, it was just, I just wanted to do something like that. And
I mean, cricket not being sexy, not
no, cricket not being sexy. But I think cricket is a sexy sport.
Yeah.
It's a very sexy sport, and so is baseball. You just have to get into that kind of mindset of... It's, I like the fact that you can play for 5 days and no one can win. I mean, the Americans cannot get that together at all. But for me, it's just, I've been watching the test matches between South Africa and New Zealand recently. And it's far better than watching the one-dayers. I mean, there was one-dayers on TV yesterday between West Indies and Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And then, but I'd rather watch the other one. Thank you very much. I'd rather watch the new bowlers come through from New Zealand and from South Africa and the batsmen. You see more potential that way.
Yeah. You're here for Freddie, of course. What did you make? I mean, last summer was just so special, wasn't it? Did you get to the games?
I think, no, I didn't. I was on tour. But it was probably one of the most exciting sporting occasions I've ever witnessed. And the thing that really touched me more than anything else was the mutual respect that the two teams had for each other and the sporting way it was carried out. The Brett Lee innings, for example, it was astonishing, and the games were so close, except for the first test, which England got pummeled in. The one we run by 2 runs. I remember watching that. I couldn't bear it. I was in the south of France, and I was on the phone to Michael Caine, saying, "Oh, for God's sake!" And he said, "I can't look," because Michael Caine is a huge cricket fan, and that it was an extraordinary. I don't think we'll see another one like that for a long time.
No.
2 very evenly matched teams, and great cricket all round. What I liked about it was the tempo at which the game was played. There were 300 or 400 runs being scored all the time, and it was fun. It was entertainment, and yet it was great cricket. It was great bowling, great batting, and 2 teams that really wanted to win.
Yeah. You mentioned the spirit. I know you love football too, obviously, but would you like to see football played in the sort of the cricketing spirit?
Well, the thing I love about, say, in Spanish football is when you watch Spanish football on TV, when they do foul each other, they pick each other up, and there's always Ronaldinho plays the game with a grin, and I like that. We have a player at Watford called Marlon King who scored 21 goals this year, and is the top scorer in the championship. And you see him on TV, and he grins and he laughs and he enjoys it. And Eto's like that, and it's nice to see that element in the game. Sport is enjoyable. It should be enjoyable to play. Whatever sport you play, you should go out there wanting to win. And if you don't win, then you should accept it in the best way possible. I learnt that when I became chairman of Watford Football Club in 1973. I wasn't a particularly good loser, and you have to be gracious. And I thought the thing that touched me last year about that Test series was, it was hell for leather, and everyone wanted to win, but in the end of the day, the mutual respect that the two teams had was it was very touching. It's
interesting, isn't it? Because Steve Waugh, the former captain, has said publicly that he thought it was that and the sort of the friendliness that the Australians showed to England that actually cost them the series. It's almost as if they're going to go the other way again, perhaps, and we go there in
sledging. There's always been the rivalry, but but they always go for a drink with each other after. They're first in the dressing room afterwards. That's part and parcel of the game. But I've been there. As soon as the game's finished, it's in the other dressing room for a drink. That's the way it goes. And listen, I'm sure there was a lot of mini sledging going on in that way. But it was terrific to see the English team competing at the level of the Australians, which too often we haven't done. No. Because the Australians have an incredible team spirit and an incredible will to win, and an incredible professionalism of the way they do it. And I've always admired that about Australian sports teams in general. And last year, I think, with Duncan Fletcher being the coach and with Michael Vaughan the captain and with Freddie coming on and playing such a great role, the emergence of Peterson, the bowling of Jones, Harmison and Hoggard in different spurts was fantastic. It was like the old days. It was so exciting.
Yes, you talk so passionately about this, Elton. Are you a frustrated sportsman? Would you?
I think every singer, every musician I've ever known would like to be a sportsman.
Really?
And every sportsman I've ever known wants to be a musician. It's always, it's sod's law. If you can't be one, but there's a great parallel between sport and music, because I think they're both great levelers. You could go to a park and kick a football around, and people say, "Can we join in?" And you don't know them, and when you're on stage playing to people you don't know and they're singing with you, it's a great feeling of like you're together with all these people. And I think that sport and music, more than anything else, bring people together, especially on a religious basis. When I've played in Northern Ireland, I've played to Catholics and Protestants together in that place where I played, and that's the only time they're allowed to be together. But they've been drinking in the pub. It brings people together, and sport does that too. And some of the banter you get at sports is fantastic. Some of the crowd at Watford has come up, the crowd come up with some incredibly funny things. And for me, it's my life. Music and sport are the two things that have always been anchored ever since I was a child that I loved.
Yeah. Problem is, of course, that sportsmen have a shelf life, don't they? They know 35, 40 if they're really lucky.
Yes. That's the thing. That's the thing. Golfers have it a little bit easier because they can play on till they have seniors now, so they can play forever.
Yeah.
And a cricketer can play into his 40s. A footballer really can't unless you're Teddy Sheringham or the Milan back four. Sportsmen have a shelf life, and of course county cricketers up until. Even so, are not even on the same pay scale as anybody else. They play cricket because they love it, and I think that's so great. And you see, you watch a county game on TV or a Sunday afternoon game on TV, and you see new players come in and you've never heard of. And there's something 23, 24. There's a boy who was playing for Surrey the other day. Is it Dernbach?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks very young, and he took 2 great wickets. And you think, God, there's a name for the future, maybe. And I bet he's not getting paid hardly anything.
No.
But they're playing because they love it, and I just think that's so great to be able to do something you love. Like when I first joined a band, I did something that I loved, and we earned 15 quid a week, and we had to pay our own petrol money, our own accommodation, look after our equipment, and I don't think we could have made any money, but we loved it, and we didn't care about it because we were so happy to do something that we actually loved, so happy. And I think there's something beautifully romantic about being a cricketer. There's something so graceful, and I think it's camaraderie, and I don't know, it's just a wonderful thing. I envy cricketers like that.
How do you keep yourself fresh? It's one thing for a cricketer to go out, he might, like as you did, get 0 one day or 22 the next. You're singing the same very the same songs, I suppose, and have been for a long, long time. How do you sort of keep
Every
yourself...
performance is different. No matter how many times you sing the songs, every innings is different. I don't have the psychological, like when a player hits a bad patch, and everyone's going to hit a bad patch sooner or later. And it happens to writers of songs. You write songs sometimes over a couple of years that aren't as good as you've written before.
And you know that, do you, at the time?
Well, in time you know it, because you look back and think, well, that wasn't as good. And a cricketer will go through that, and it's sometimes so psychological. The sport is psychological, and being successful as a musician is psychological. You have to keep yourself fresh. You have to keep yourself on your toes. You cannot coast. I do that by listening to new music, listening to new artists, encouraging new artists, not listening to old things, listening to new things. It's the young people that keep you on your toes. Yeah. And that's how I keep myself fresh. With cricketers, it's just, if you've got the talent's there. It's having the mental capacity to go along with it, I think, and you must agree with me there. So many people have the talent, they just don't have the mental capacity to couple the talent and the mental capabilities with it.
That's absolutely true.
I mean, there are great performers on test, in county cricket, like Mark Ramprakash, who's never really done it at
Chris Lewis,
test match level.
People like that.
Yeah, and you think, God, you've got all the raw talent in the world, and it's such a shame it's never quite come together at a test match. And I've always been a fan of Mark Ramprakash, ever since he was one of the youngest players ever to play for Middlesex.
Yeah. And you keep playing the music? You still keep creating yourself?
I've just made a new album this year in my 42nd or 43rd, I think. You always have to create. I mean, I'm either writing musicals or film music or doing different things to keep challenging myself. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't look back. Even though you play the old standbys because people want to hear them, you have to look forward and you have to produce new things. Otherwise, you will go stale and you will be just doing it as a machine. And I could never do that.
Must mention these venues. You're off on tour, aren't you?
I'm doing cricket grounds this year.
You are. Canterbury, Durham, Worcester, Taunton, Hove. I'll give all the dates at the end of our chat here. But that's great fun, isn't it?
It's going to be fantastic. I mean, I've never really played a cricket ground before, except in Australia. I played in Perth and played Sydney and Melbourne.
Do you play in the round, as they call it, or do you...
No, I'll have a stage at one end. Canterbury is going to be great because I've never been to Canterbury cricket ground. I've been to Worcester, but Canterbury.
I think you came to Worcester.
With George Harrison.
Indeed, and Eric Clapton. To see Ian Botham when I was playing for Leicestershire. I mean, you obviously came to see me, Elton, but...
it was a Sunday game.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. It was a beautiful day. Yeah. And it's one of the beautiful grounds, Worcester, don't you think?
Beautiful, absolutely.
What do you think, what's your favourite county cricket ground?
Oh, Grace Road, Leicester.
Leicester?
Have you been?
No, seriously, what is your favourite cricket
ground? I think Worcester would be... And Canterbury. If you haven't been to Canterbury, you'll love it.
No, it's
a bit of a shame about the tree.
Yes, but it's a bit like Wrigley Field with baseball. You must go to Canterbury to see a cricket game.
Yeah. Any of those Kent grounds are lovely. Brilliant. Now, come on, Freddie, tonight you're going to sing with him. I mean, for a start, Rocket Man. Are you a bit surprised that he chose Rocket Man as being the song he'd listen to?
I read it in the papers and I just thought, oh my God, that's very nice. It's always flattering when someone picks one of your songs. And Rocket Man, I wouldn't... I can't wait for him to actually sing it tonight to make an absolute fool of himself.
I think
which he will do, yes. I mean, I think everyone is just chomping at the bit. Yeah. Mind you, looking around here tonight, how many people? It's like
you'll see 1,300 people move quite quickly when he starts singing, I suspect.
Yeah, as long as those 100 people don't move quickly when I'm singing, I don't mind. But yeah, well, Freddie will clear that floor quicker than anybody else.
But have you rehearsed? I mean, it's good to get him.
No, not a rehearsal. Jim Carrey sang it with me once, unrehearsed, on stage in Los Angeles. And that was quite something, I can tell you. But Freddie, I think, will probably beat Jim.
Right. Well, we're going to listen to it. But first, Selton, thank you so much for joining us.
Listen, thanks.
And thank you for the boundary. Top man.
And let's forward to a good summer of cricket.
It's my great pleasure to bring to the stage one of the greatest vocalists currently singing in Britain. I mean, I've sung with Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, George Michael... who else? Loads of people. But I've never sung with anybody like this. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a really big warm welcome to my guest performer, Andrew Flintoff. She packed my bags last night, pre-flight, 0 hour 9. here. Ooh, I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless, timeless flight. Gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round and get to find I'm not the man that they think I am at all. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, burning on the seas of hell alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man that think I am at all. Oh, no, no, I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, I'm burning out the seas of hell alone.
It was a fantastic night. You know, to have somebody like Elton John, one of my heroes, singing at a benefit function in front of those people, I think it's something that they'll all remember for a long, long time. And I know that I will. It was a fantastic night, and yeah, the singing didn't go too well, but I'm sure you've heard that. But it was unbelievable.
Did you give it your full voice, Freddie?
I was a bit sheepish, to be honest. I got up there, and to begin with, I froze, a bit of stage fright, and then luckily Elton's got such a powerful voice. He managed to drown out my drivel I was singing.
Why Rocket Man? Why was that such a special song for you?
I don't know, I've been an Elton John fan for a while and listened to a lot of his music, and then the thing with me is if I listen to a song and I like it, I listen to it over and over and over again. I kill it, to be honest. And I played it in the dressing room and kept playing it, and the rest of the lads started playing it, and then through last summer during the Ashes series it became like the team anthem, and it seemed to, when that song was played, it reminded you of good times, because the times you had at Edgbaston and then Trent Bridge and moving on to the Oval, you know, it made you smile and feel quite good about yourself.
And are you using it this summer, or have you killed it?
I don't know yet, to be honest. We'll have to have a look and see what's on the iPod and have a word with the lads.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man I think I am at home. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, I'm burning out the seas of hell alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Freddie, it's gonna be a long, long time. Yeah, it's gonna be a long, long time. I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Oh. rocket man. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man, 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 rocket man.